Hi everyone and welcome to episode 14 of the YarnderWoman podcast. My name is Melinda, I am YarnderWoman on Ravelry and Instagram, and you can find show notes for this podcast at www.yarnderwoman.blogspot.com.au. And there is also always a link to each episode in the Ravelry thread, so you can find the episode there or go straight to YouTube to the YarnderWoman channel. Thank you very much for joining me. Today is Saturday. It's not Saturday. I'm confusing myself. It's Friday, the 30th of January. I usually do record on Saturdays, but I'm going to be a bit busy this weekend, so I'm recording at about 5:30 a.m. on Friday the 30th before I head into work. So I am usually up at this time to get ready for work, so I leave quite early. But I'm not usually having to actually do much more than my usual morning routine, so bear with me if I'm a little bit tired. I haven't had my coffee yet either, but we'll see. Also, apologies if the lighting's a little bit harsh. As I said, it is 5:30, and even though it's summer here and it's light outside already, there's not enough light coming in the windows. So I'm using just a harsh bedroom light. I'm actually in my stepson's bedroom. He stayed at a friend's house last night. But this is a good spot in the house where I can actually close the doors and not wake up anyone else who's still sleeping. So bear with me. Hopefully the episode will be good regardless. I'm sure it will. Let's kick things off and broach the subject. So today's brooch is a gift. So it was a gift from one of my former directors. So I unfortunately can't tell you the shop it was from, but he got it when he went to Tasmania, which is one of our states in Australia. It's the small island that's off the southeast coast of Australia. And the reason he brought back a brooch is because I and one of my former colleagues had all started wearing brooches. This is a few years ago, obviously. And so when he went on the business trip without the rest of the team, he came back and brought all of his brooches. So that was very nice indeed and very appropriate. And it's just really cool and retro fabric and nice thing to make you smile on a Friday. Prizes. So we don't have any today to actually draw, but I've got quite a few to talk about. So firstly, I wanted to mention something that's been up in the Ravelry thread for a couple of weeks, but I forgot to mention it last time. I've opened a thread called Prizes to Projects, and that's a place where you can post a photo or talk about anything that you're making with something that you've won as a prize here on the podcast. So we've already had a lovely photo put up by Faithful Knitter of a jumper she made for her son with a pattern that she won. So there's no obligation to do that. It's not that you have to do it if you win a prize, but I thought it'd be fun. So if you win a pattern or yarn or stitch markers or anything, pop a photo up when you're using the product, and it'd be great to see what you make with it, because I'm sure we'd all be interested to have a look. We've also got our Lehua Scarfette cowl going at the moment. That will run until the end of February, and I haven't got the prizes to show you again because I have shown them the last few times. But we've got a lovely bag from Suburban Stitcher, some gorgeous yarn from White Birch Fibre Arts, and some lovely yarn keychains from No Makers. I'll put links to all those lovely donors in the show notes. I've said lovely a lot, but lovely is a nice word, and it is good to have lovely people and lovely things, so yay. We also had a prize draw a couple of episodes ago, and that was in the thread about posting your 2015 goals. And we had a gorgeous skein of the Cyborg's Craft Room as the prize. I haven't heard from the person whose name was drawn, and I have even sent them a message on Ravelry saying you might want to watch that episode. I believe it was one recorded on the 3rd of January. If I don't hear from that person by the time I record next in 2 weeks, I will be redrawing that contest from the same thread. So yeah, if you haven't watched the 3rd of January episode and you entered that contest, you might want to have a look. As I said, I did send a Ravelry message. And I think for prizes from now on, we'll have a little, not terms and conditions, we don't want to make it too formal, but have it that if I don't hear from you within 4 weeks, then I will redraw, because I think that's fair enough. I know people get behind in watching episodes, I know I certainly do, so I'm not trying to be too draconian about it, but also making it fair for people who are watching regularly. And yeah, we'll do it that way. I know the two Knit Lit Chicks and Pink Hair Girl do that as well. They have the stipulation about a certain time frame. So I think it's okay. Hope no one's got any issues with that. I don't think you should. But yes, we'll go from there. So maybe you'll win if you didn't last time. We have a new contest running for February as well as the cowl. That is a very generous donation from Knit Circus on Etsy, and I will of course link to them in the show notes. They are donating to us one of their beautiful new 50-gram gradient skeins. They are still choosing which colour that they will be giving to us, so it's exciting. But the link, as I said, will be in the show notes and in the Ravelry thread, so you can go and have a look. We'll open a separate thread for the contest, and I'll put the prompt in the thread because I haven't quite decided yet. And into there, 1 entry per person must be a member of the group to win. And our new stipulation, you have 4 weeks to claim your prize when it's drawn. And so we'll run that for all of February, as I said, and it'll be really exciting to win one of these beautiful gradients, so go and enter if you'd like to. We also have another generous donation from another Etsy seller, that's Chayton Designs, who are based in Australia, and she makes the most beautiful stitch markers and some quite unusual things. She's giving all of us 20% off our purchases by using the discount code Chayton, which is CHATON. Again, be all in the show notes with the link, so go over there. She's got some gorgeous things, including like 10 rose stitch markers that I've actually got on order, so I'll show you that next time when it arrives. And some just, yeah, lots of lovely stitch markers. So thank you for your generous discount to us, and everyone go over and go shopping. Last week I had a particular pair of socks in the works in progress section that were giving me a bit of trouble because of second sock syndrome, but you'll be pleased to see 2 socks. And they're only ankle socks, but as I said, they are men's size, so they're a bit longer in the foot. So these, as you can see, they're a little bit too long for my sock blocker. That colours, there we go, that's better. This is the bigger on the inside colourway by Lorna's Laces, and this is the Soulmate yarn that has the Outlast fibre in it, which regulates heat and cold. I'll bring it up close even though it washes the colour up so you can see. I did a 3x1 rib all the way around the cuff and then down the front. Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I also held the yarn double for the heel, so that's quite a bit thicker. Very satisfying to have these off the needles. Damien's very pleased to have them. He hasn't worn them yet because this week he's been a bit busy. We've been going out a couple of nights in the week. Who are we going out during the week? So he hasn't been riding this week yet since I finished them, but I'm sure he will try them out on the weekend. Very happy. And yeah, love the Soulmate yarn. Really great crisp feeling. There were also some other finished objects that I had a little bit of contribution to, but not really. A few episodes ago, you'll remember I had those partially finished knitted bears. Well, they flew over to Germany to Anya, and she has finished all 3 of them. And if you follow her on Instagram, she's Lessa Suchtig. She said I got that right last time, I'm not sure though. You can see them all finished up, so I'm very happy that the bears are living on and are going to be loved by children, and that they're going to not be in my cupboard like they have been for the past 4 years. So thank you for that, Anya. I hope you enjoy them. And now we'll see something in works in progress that should have been in finished objects but isn't quite there yet. So in my lovely bag made for me by the wonderful Julia, 9Crafty11, you remember, possibly, I was making the Seafoam Shawlette to Shrug. And when I said just before that it should have been in finished objects, it's because I've stopped partway through the bind off. So it really is just about finished bar the binding off. So the only reason I stopped is because I think by the end there's something like 530 stitches on the needle. And I'd been working solidly on the project over the weekend. And it was great actually. It was one of those things where I just sort of picked it up and wasn't really focusing on, oh, you know, get this finished or anything. I was just knitting along. It was quite cathartic and relaxing. And then I realised, you know, I kept going. I was like, oh, there's only a few rows left. So I just kept working and then got to the bind off. And by that point, I was just a bit ready to do something else because, as I said, 530 or something stitches. So there's nothing wrong with the project, anything like that. My focus just shifted. So I'm definitely going to be finishing that this weekend, and that way I can get it blocked as well. So as I said, it's a bit hard to show you because it's all bunched up, but this is the part that's bound off so far. So you can see maybe here we've got some lovely eyelets. Oh, there's a needle sticking in. There we go. Lovely eyelets, and then there's this ruffle section here. And so that goes all the way around, and beautiful yarn by Skein Yarns. Oh, sterling colourway. And so I think there's instructions in the pattern to block it, on how to block it, sorry, and it's a paid pattern, so I won't go into it. So I think it will grow quite a bit in the blocking, so that'll be lovely. And then I have to get some buttons, because you can attach removable buttons to it so that you can actually like clip it under here so that you can wear it as a little shrug. That's why it's called shawlette to shrug. Sorry, getting myself mixed up. It didn't quite use all the ball, so I've still got quite a bit left. Well, not quite a bit, I haven't measured it, but definitely not going to run out. If you've seen the Yarn Hullet's blog post from yesterday, yeah, she's such a fabulous writer all the time, but she's got a particular funny one about knitting on a shawl and nearly running out of yarn. And spoiler alert, but it's quite cool because there's like that much yarn left at the end. But yeah, the way she writes it is very funny. So have a look at that. I guess that would be her post from maybe 27th or 28th of January. Very funny. But yes, so that will definitely be in Finished Objects next week. So that's exciting. And the thing that has been taking my attention this week, I'm housing in my very cool, ooh, it's washing out because of the light, there we go, bag from Little Skein and the Big Wool. And look, it tells me I'm an official sock knitter. The bag says so. This is very cool. Anything by Little Skein is just fantastic. And this is custom fabric she designed herself. So it's got all the knit stitches here, got the cute little foxes, and you'll notice the foxes are wearing rainbow socks. Very cool. And that's very appropriate because there's rainbow contained within here. How awesome is that yarn? Just so cool. This is by White Birch Fibre Arts. Actually, I have the tag here. So White Birch Fibre Arts. Friends don't let friends craft with insipid yarn. Purple Haze colourway. So the entire week I've been knitting these, I've had the Jimi Hendrix song Purple Haze in my head, so which is not a bad thing, it's a great song. So this yarn is definitely not something I've knit before. It's very different and I just love it. Like Lisa from White Birch is just a dye genius. Like the way she's done that gradient stripe is just perfect. I've made it into 2 balls because I'm gonna, this is the thing, I was going to do concurrent socks, but I've done these in 2.25mm needles because I usually use a 2.5, but as I was saying in the last episode, the thinner yarns, it tends to, yeah, the gauge is wrong, so I thought I'll try it on a 2.25, and I did 64 stitches instead of 60 stitches, so I hope it's going to be okay. And I've actually made the leg longer than I usually make my legs because I just kept knitting. It was just so addictive, this yarn. I've done the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I actually did the heel from the other ball so that I could maintain the stripes. And as you can see, the purple section is a bit wider than the rainbow, and the heel took exactly an entire purple section, so that's very cool. So I'm going to, now, had I thought about it properly, I should have done, you know, half a purple stripe, then started the heel, so it'll sort of be even when you look at it. Not that it matters, they're for me, I don't mind. But it was one of those, you know, 10:30 at night decisions where I'd knit a bit further and then I was like, oh no, rip back, because I was going to use the same ball. And then I went, no, I'll change the ball of yarn. But then I'd already ripped back and I went, oh, who cares? So loving, loving, loving. Now, this is also a sort of a preview for the prize for the Lehua cowl, because the yarn from White Birch Fibre Arts is very similar. It's called Nothing Says Screw You Like a Rainbow, and it's exactly the same except this part, instead of being purple, is a lovely pale blue, so it's like the sky with clouds on the other one. So this is very similar to one of the prizes in the Lahua cowl. So as well as the other awesome prizes of the Suburban Stitcher bag and the No Makers little keychains, this can be an inspiration to you if you want to enter to win some yarn. So as I said, usually do concurrent socks, but because I'm doing the 2.25, I only have one pair of those. I have ordered another pair from an Australian yarn store, Pearlwise, which is over on the eastern seaboard. So it hasn't arrived yet. So, and as I said, this is quite addicting. So I don't think I'm going to get as bad second sock syndrome, and hopefully it won't be bad at all. But as I said, it's Friday today, so there's a chance they might arrive today, in which case I'll immediately cast on the second one so I can just get that started. But if not, I'm happy to keep knitting on this one. And as I said, I think I'll be okay with second sock syndrome because it's just so beautiful. Really different colours for me, but loving. And the third work in progress, the knitting is finished, but I've just got to do the finishing. So this is a bunny snuggie. The pattern, I'm trying to remember the name. It's something like, you know, bunny snuggie rug number, blah, blah, blah. So I'll put the link in the show notes. It's a free pattern. I've made it several times before. And this one of my friends has just recently announced she's expecting, so I'm trying to get organised and get things ready for her well in advance. So it's sort of hard to see. So these are the little hands, and you'll tie them in to make a little knot. So this is the part the baby can squish. And then I'll be stuffing the head. The construction is really clever. It makes like a little pocket. Hard to see. A little pocket in there. And so then you just cinch that together, embroider the face on, and it's good to go. So this yarn is Jinx Yarns Merino Aran, and it's in the Blackberry Jam colourway, which I think is very appropriate. This is the rest of the ball, so it didn't use much at all. I haven't weighed it yet, but yeah, very, very good project if you had scraps. I just wanted to use this colour because it's beautiful. And I thought it was quite cool because Blackberry Jam, I think, is a very appropriate name. But to me, with the garter stitch, it almost looks like crushed up gemstones, like rubies and amethysts and garnets and that sort of thing. So I thought that was quite cool. So yes, that's that one. So I've just got to finish it off. And that's it for works in progress, because I'm trying not to cast on all the things because I'm trying to finish things up. But with the shawl nearly finished, that does leave me open to a few needle adjacent projects. So I've got those to show you as well. So what I didn't mention with the rainbow socks is that I was inspired to cast those on by the Suburban Stitcher rainbow cowl that's going to be running till the end of February. So you can knit anything in rainbow yarn, but I think it has to be a minimum of 50 grams. So my next needle adjacent project won't be eligible because it's not, I think it's only about 28 grams. Just winding this up as I talk. This is some leftovers from the socks that I made Sophie for Christmas. This is, here we go, Manic Pixie Dream yarn in the Dream and Delirium the Endless colourway. So this is a black stripe, then a rainbow stripe. And Sophie loves those socks, just loves them. And so she wants me to make her some little arm warmers or wristers out of the leftovers. So I divided into two to make it even, and I'll just knit until I run out. So however long they end up being. As I said, I think I've got about 14 grams in each ball. So they probably won't be huge, but we'll at least get, definitely at least one rainbow stripe, one black stripe. So I think they'll be good. So I've got those, and I'll be starting these from the 1st of February because of the Little Along cowl that is running in both the Little Bobbins and the Little Yellow Uke podcasts. So they're doing, because of little in their name, and February is the littlest month, you can make little projects, and the definition of little is up to your interpretation. So these are going to be eligible because it's only a little amount of yarn. And then my next needle adjacent, oh, yarn is rolling everywhere, is going to, I take out the plastic, Annie's Swiss Cheese Scarf. So this is a free pattern, so that's why I'm holding it up for you. So the book, Annie's Swiss Cheese Scarf by Alana Dacos, is one that I read with my little niece, and it at the end has some instructions on knitting, so that's how I've been teaching her. And in the book, Annie starts knitting, and gets lots of holes from drop stitches, but then continues to practice and keeps going. So this is a pattern to actually make the scarf looking like the one in the book. So I've told my niece I'm making this, so hopefully she doesn't then go, I don't want holes. Fingers crossed. The yarn I'm using is more Jinx. This time it's the worsted, not the Aran. And this is the colourway One of a Kind number 32, which I have used before in making the Beans the Cat pattern that I made late last year. So this is the yarn caked up. So it's a lovely dusty pink with some sort of purpley periwinkle parts in between. So I think that's going to be good. The pattern does call for a bulky, but I'm just going to follow the pattern anyway, and it'll just be thinner, and that's fine because it doesn't get that cold in Perth anyway. But yeah, so this will also be part of the little along because it's for a little person. So as you can see, you can make it work. So you can use little needles, little yarn, thin yarn, all sorts of things. So it's all open. And the final thing I will be casting on the 14th of February or after because that is part of the cowl in the 15 Socks in 15 group. And we're going to have a Valentine's sock knit along. So the pattern is called Creme Heart, I believe. I'll link to it in the show notes. And it's a lovely pattern with sort of a heart made out of yarn overs, I think. It's a free pattern. And I've got my 2 project bags all set because I'm going to do concurrent socks. So this one is from the Lovely Little Bobbins on Etsy and the Little Bobbins podcast. So awesome polka dots, knitting related fabric, and then more polka dots inside. And then this one from Tangerine Designs because I thought that was pretty cool for Valentine's. In fact, I think it probably was one of her Valentine's fabrics. The yarn I'm going to be using is from the Cyborgs Craft Room, and the colourway is Broken Mirrors, Broken Minds on the Sparklate base. And this is the prettiness of that yarn. There we go. Oh, there we go, I'll hold it up there. And I'll bring one closer so you can see the sparkles. Isn't that beautiful? So it's sort of lovely sort of magentas and reds, a bit of purple. So I think those are going to be beautiful Valentine's Day socks. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And I feel like I'm just in this zone with sock knitting because I feel like I can do 15 pairs of socks this year. So I've already done 3 for my tally, but having said that, all 3 were started in December last year, so that's why I've got a bit of a head start. But yeah, I'm feeling like it's an achievable goal, so fingers crossed, because I'm really into socks at the moment. I really, as I said, want to finish my shawl so that I can get other projects on the go, but I'm really looking forward to saying really, really often. But anyway, I very much want to cast on a Colour Affection shawl, but I'm still waiting for the yarn that I bought in January, my naughty yarn. It's not naughty, it's nice. To arrive because one of those colours I particularly was thinking about using, so I don't want to make a decision until that comes. But I very much want to cast on a Colour Affection, so we'll see, that might be in my near future. We have some acquisitions, yeah. First one is something I was just blown away by. So Ashley, who's Ashley34 on Ravelry, contacted me and said she had an extra printed copy of the pattern featherweight cardigan and would I like it? And I said, oh, that'd be fantastic. It's one I want to knit this year. It's on my queue. So I said, thank you, that's very generous. And then a week or so later, I get this really big parcel and I was like, what's this? I don't remember ordering anything. Inside is not only the featherweight cardigan pattern, but a whole stack of patterns, a lot of patterns. So generous, Ashley. And not only those, but yarn. So beautiful. From Tempted, this is the Moon Dance colourway. And this one is Deviant Behaviour. Very beautiful. So yeah, so generous. Thank you so much, Ashley. I was blown away. And there's beautiful patterns in here, including several by Alana Dacos. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention as well. The Annie Swiss Cheese scarf pattern, which is by Alana Decos, as well as going to be my entry in the Little Along, is also going to be in the Alana Along that the two Knitlit chicks are doing, which is a knit along involving any of Alana Decos's patterns. And so I've been looking at a lot of them, but chose the scarf because it's something for my niece that she'd really like. But yeah, there's a lot of Alana patterns here. I'll just sort of, don't want to show the actual pattern, but yeah, lots of gorgeous other Alana patterns. So don't think I showed anything then. No, it's okay. Thank you, Ashley. So generous. Very, very happy. Just before Christmas, I placed an order on Etsy with Jessica from Solo Cosmo at Etsy. And that's her card. She's an artist. And I had ordered these two cards. This one I'd seen on Instagram. And as you can see, the girl is knitting and the giraffe's wearing knitted socks, and it's all very cool. And then I also got this one because of the flying monkeys and a falva. It's very cool. And I asked Jessica if she'd be interested in sending us anything as prizes, and she did. She sent us several little cards, so I'll quickly show you them. They're all just beautiful. Very cool. So we'll be using those for some future giveaways as well. So thank you, Jessica. Each December, the Yarn Harlot does Days of Giving for knitters, and when she puts links to different things that knitters would like as presents. And in this case, it meant a present for me from myself. So from House Rabbit Handcrafts on Etsy, she had some very cool t-shirts that are printed with knit stitches. So I got a couple. There's this one with the cute kitty playing in the yarn. And then there was one with big knit stitches all over it, and it was in colours of like pink and coral and yellow. And I asked if any other colours could be done, and I got this one. So pretty. And it even goes onto the sleeves. So yes, very, very excited by that. So thank you, Stephanie Pearl-McPhee, for linking to that one. And I will also link to the show notes, because just beautiful, hand printed, very, very lovely. So check those out if you'd like some. More cool t-shirts from the interwebs. There's a shop called Hey That's Super that has a lot of pop culture related things, and when I saw this one, it was actually through an ad on Ravelry, so you might have seen it, but when I saw this one, I knew it had to be mine. How cool is that? The dark knit. And I also got a badge of it. And I got another t-shirt. This is one, for those who don't know, referencing the Flash character. He's one of my favourites in the animated Justice League episodes. And I got this bag. Wonder Woman. The power of commas. And very generously, they sent us some prizes for us. So, hey, that's super. So that's a tote bag similar to this one. I won't open it, but that's shape and size. And then also a dark knit badge as well. So we will have these in a prize draw in a couple of months' time, because I've got an idea for another knit along. So more on that later. The final acquisition is my first order from Miss Babs. So as you would have either known yourself or seen on other podcasts, Miss Babs had a big sale. I think it was 20% off just before Christmas. And the reason I wanted to jump on is because, well, A, I haven't tried Miss Babs, and B, I was, in this desperate race to buy yarn before January 1st. Yes. And C, I really wanted to get the colourway Berlin because it's very pretty. It's quite variegated, different colours. Plus, I've made a lot of friends in Berlin and Germany, so hashtag because of knitting. And so I thought that's a great excuse to buy yarn because of the colourway name, you know how we go. So I ordered that and ordered a couple more. But then I was told, unfortunately, there'd been a problem with their inventory and they didn't actually have any Berlin in stock, so they refunded me, which is fine, these things happen, but a bit of a shame because I missed out on the one I actually really wanted. But the ones I did get are something I'm going to make into a little shrug for my sister-in-law. So yellow is her favourite colour. So these two pretties are jonquil, that's right. There we go. Jonquil colourway in the Cosmic base, which is a 3-ply fingering. And yes, very pretty. I think my sister-in-law will really love those. Sorry to keep moving them. I'm just trying to get it in the light. There you go. So yes, feels lovely. Very much looking forward to trying my first Miss Babs. Don't know when I'll be making this, probably later in the year. But yes, and that is the end of acquisitions for this episode. Things that have been spinning me right round. Firstly, some thank yous to the lovely Molly of A Homespun House, who was mentioning me in my podcast a couple of episodes ago. Thank you, Molly. And also to Helen from A Curious Handmade audio podcast, who also publicised my podcast. Thank you so much, Helen. Helen's great. She's an Australian living in London. And she, at the moment, is focusing a lot on decluttering her house and her life. And there's lots of really interesting tips on her Ravelry thread, as well as in her recent episodes. So go and check those out if you haven't already. Very inspiring, Helen. I'm trying to get organised as well. It hasn't happened in as much as it has for you yet. I think you've done a lot more than I have, but I'm getting there. Another thing that is definitely spinning me around from this week, and you would have seen on Instagram, is Damien and I went to a book signing by the wonderful Perth artist and writer Sean Tan. He actually won an Oscar a few years ago for a short film of one of his works, The Lost Thing. And his work is just amazing, and he's definitely a huge inspiration to Damien with his art. So he was doing a book signing at one of the independent bookshops here, so we went along. And as is the tradition now, Tori Amos held my yarn, so Sean Tan held my yarn, so... And he was quite happy to do so. And he actually, as he handed it back to me, said, "Oh, good tension. I actually used to knit myself." So, but there wasn't really time to further the conversation to ask him why he didn't anymore or what he used to make. So, but that was still very exciting. So here is a photo of the lovely Sean Tan with my lovely sock. And with that, we will say goodbye for another week. I hope you are going to have a wonderful day, whatever you are doing. I'm about to go make a coffee to take on my morning commute and hopefully download the latest episode of the Actually Knitting podcast to listen on the way. And I will see you next time. Please go to the Ravelry threads to enter the competitions, participate in any of the chatter. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.